welcome to another video. This video is gonna be a new makeup updates video. I always, after first impressions, after hauls, after all kinds of videos, come back and give you my full review on these products after trying them out a little bit more. So that's what we're gonna do today. Let's get into it. So I have a bunch of products here in front of me that I'm gonna share my thoughts on. I will link the videos that I made on these down below. If you want to see swatches, if you want to see looks, if you want to hear more about my thoughts, I would recommend checking out those videos because I usually have done videos with the products that I show you in this video. Alright, let's start with Kiko Milano Beauty Essentials. I did a video about this collection about a month ago at the point that I'm filming this, and I even bought some more things in the meantime because there were some things that I was really impressed by. So let's start. First up, I have here the Beauty Essentials Glowy Face and Body Highlighter. I think this is such a good highlighter. It's kind of like a basic champagne shade, but there's just something about this formula that blends into the skin so quickly, so beautifully. It makes your skin look glowy, but in such a natural, healthy way without being too subtle. I have used this so many times already. I really love it. I really like what they did with the packaging. They kind of made a lock, so if you turn it down, it kind of locks in, so it cannot open by accident in your drawer, in your makeup bag. I think this is a really beautiful product. It's just so easy to use. It looks so great on the skin, and just this very beautiful, effortless, creamy highlight that I feel like I was kind of missing in my collection. Like a cream highlight that is so easy to use, and this is amazing. I really love it. Then I have here two shades of the Beauty Essentials Color Flush 3-in-1 all over. I have the shade 01, which is kind of like a brown nude shade. I got this after the video, so I don't show this in the video, but this is the brown shade. And I had this one in the video, the shade 04, which is kind of like a toned down berry that isn't too deep. I really love this formula. It can be used both on the lips and on the cheeks. Usually with these lip and cheek formulas, I feel like they either work very well on the cheeks or they work very well on the lips, and these do both. Like, they are this very beautiful kind of smooth matte liquid lipsticks when you apply them on the lips. Not too drying. They're not a satin, but they're not like dusty crusty, like you feel like your lips are gonna fall off. They're pretty comfortable on the lips and they just look really good. And then on the cheeks, they're really easy to use, really easy to blend out. I really think these are some amazing products. That's why I bought another one. I think this is my favorite liquid blush formula. Like, I'm so excited about these. I love both these shades. One is just a little bit more nude and a bit more toned down. One is definitely brighter, but I really fell in love with this shade. Like, I think it is such a fun berry pinky shade, and I thought it looked so good in the video. By the way, these do dry down kind of like satiny on the cheeks. They are not like this very glowy liquid blush. They do dry down. They don't leave any sticky feeling on the cheeks. They just have this kind of natural finish to them on the cheeks. Then I have two shades of the Kiko Beauty Essentials Hydra Shine Hydrating Shiny Lipstick. And the first shade that I got for the video was 02, and this is a very beautiful kind of toned down red, like a nude red. I think this is such a beautiful, interesting shade. It just has a little bit of mauviness in it as well, a little bit of brown in it as well, and it kind of makes me think of a perfect fall lipstick, like a lipstick that is just a little bit more in that toned down brown realm, but still has this like vibrancy to it. It just makes me think of fall. There's something kind of spicy about it, and I think that this formula is really nice. It is the Hydra Shiny lipstick formula that we're used to from Kiko. What they do in a lot of their collections, it is just like that. They work really well. They are just new shades. I also got shade 03, which is more of a almost lilac-y mauve. It's almost a bit berry. It's a quite cool tone. I think this is such a beautiful neutral shade without being an actual like nudie brownie shade. It is just this soft mauve-y color that still adds some brightness to your look, and I think this will especially look very good on you if you have cool undertones. I really love a shade like this, so I would highly recommend checking these out. I don't know what of this collection, like which of these products of this collection are still available, but so much in here that I have really enjoyed. And I think the thing that impressed me the most and that I've really gotten into and that I can already kind of call favorites are the 3D effect lip glosses from this collection. So I started out with the shade 04, which is kind of like a soft red. Such a cute shade. I love this shade so much. It is just my perfect sheer red lip gloss. I love sheer red lip glosses because I was wearing that so much and I really loved it. It's just this formula that has these sparkles but in a very sophisticated way. It doesn't feel gritty. It just makes your lips look very 3D. It really adds a lot of dimension to the lips, and I just love like these semi-sheer, kind of sheer lip glosses that are not too sticky, not too thick, but also not too thin, because if they are too thin, I feel like they kind of disappear off the lips really quickly, but this stays on quite long. So because of that, I went back into the store and I was like, okay, 2 more shades. I really love this formula. So I have 02, which is kind of like a peachy pink. These have a bit less color to them, but they definitely are different in undertone. When you add them to the lips, they will pull a bit more warm or more cool. Like this shade 03 is more of a like cool toned lilac, and I feel like both of these can really add something extra to the lips. They work really well on their own, but they also work really well. It's kind of like a topper on the lips. I really enjoy these shades, and there's just something about the formula that makes your lips look so good. Next up, I got the All Shades of Eyeshadow palette in 02 Earth size from the Beauty Essentials collection as well. I really enjoyed this palette and the looks that I did with it so much. You can definitely go a little bit more deep. You can take one of the darker shades first and make it look a little bit more impactful, a little bit more smoky, but you can also go a bit more soft. I really love all the shades in here actually. I think the shimmers are really beautiful, really dimensional, really special. Like this shade over here is a bronze to a yellow duochrome and it's sparkly and I love it. The only thing I would say with this palette is that the mattes are a little bit crumbly, but they do work well in the end if you're just aware of it when you go into the palette. Like, don't go in with too much force, be a little bit careful and you will like not have many problems with it. It's just a little thing for me. I love this whole palette. I think it's a cute color story. I like the shades in here. Like some of them are just a little bit unexpected. Like we have some duochromes, we have some sparkly shades. I really enjoyed this palette and I think this is like becoming my new favorite palette of Kiko Milano. I've been reaching for this a lot and I think it's just like a really good formula and something that is really up my alley. Then I have one more thing that is not from the Beauty Essentials collection. This is the Kiko Milano 3D Hydra lip gloss in shade 19, and this is like a kind of soft, warm brownie nude with a subtle golden shimmer throughout it. This is what the doe foot looks like. I think this is such a beautiful formula. It's quite comparable to the 3D effect lip glosses. I think they kind of took their inspiration from this maybe, but it's not too thick once again, not too thin, not too sticky. It just has this sheer quality that makes your lips look good and that just adds some definition, it adds some shine. I think this is a really nice lip gloss. I do feel like the 3D effect lip glosses are just a little bit more my favorites because like those shades are so up my alley and just the sparkle that is in there. This is a little bit less sparkly, but it's more of a shade thing than a formula thing. I understand that these are hyped. I understand that these are favorites for many people because this is a really nice formula. So it is the next day. Totally forgot something. Totally forgot to talk about something, and it's something that I feel like it's pretty important to talk about. So there is the Beauty Essentials Silky Luminous Blush in 02 Mauve Time that I also bought from the Beauty Essentials line. And I already said it in my haul when I hauled these products, but this glittery part is an overspray and I'm just not too happy about this blush. I'm not too happy with how they approach this blush because Kiko Milano can do such beautiful cheek products. Like I basically love all of the products for cheeks that I've tried from them, but I feel like because of this overspray, it just looks very chunky and glittery on the cheeks, and maybe the blush underneath would be better, but like it's a pretty thick overspray and I don't know if I want to go through all of this to try it. I just think this is a weird product. I don't know why they did the overspray. I don't like it with the overspray, but am I gonna keep using it and keep using it to get to the like actual powder part? Like it's okay with the overspray, but I don't even really want to like it because once I get through it, then it's not there anymore and it's a totally different product. I just feel really confused about this and I wouldn't really recommend it because you don't really know what you're gonna get. I would say maybe don't go for this one. There are other products by Kiko that are either actually glowy blushes or that are either actually matte blushes that are just exactly what you would expect, that are just exactly what they are supposed to be. So I'm not a fan of this one actually. Alright, let's move on to the Oden'S Eye Perfect World collection. So I got all 3 palettes in this collection and I've really taken my time. I've done a lot of looks. I have really been testing these out, like trying all the shades and trying different looks. Let's start out with the Sea Talk eyeshadow palette by Oden'S Eye and Larme Beauty. I think that this is such a cute palette, such a cute color story. You can do really nice neutral looks with it. You can make the neutral shades that you have in here also a little bit more subtle. When I first looked at this palette, before I really used this palette, I thought that this was gonna be like deep for sure, but I did a look where I just applied it softly in the crease and it really worked. So you have some versatility there. I actually liked all of the shades and I liked the looks that I did with it. I didn't have any problems. The only shade that is just not really my thing is the Satin Electric Kelp shade. I just feel like this satin formula didn't really pack a punch on the eyes as much as I wanted to. I was kind of packing it on, but it looked a little bit uneven. So I'm not the biggest fan of that shade. All of the other shades I really loved, especially this Mermaid Scale is so beautiful because it has this multicolor sparkle in it that really comes out on the eyes. So yeah, I really enjoyed this palette. I feel like people are gonna like make this Electric Kelp shade work for them, but for me it just sat a little bit weird on top of my eyes. Could be a primer thing as well, but that was just a look where I was like, I don't know. Then let's move on to the Flora Story palette. This is the one with Oden'S Eye and Makeup Just for Fun. I did so many fun looks with this. I think the greens are really beautiful. I think the purples are really beautiful. Really love the multi-chrome over here. I have no complaints about this palette. I really love the combination of shades. I think you can do really fun things, but it's not too out there. It's not too crazy. Like, it's a very intuitive color story, which I really love. I think that this is so well done, and I really especially love the shade Magnolia. This purple shimmer is just stunning. It is so shiny on the eyes. I did beautiful looks. I'm a big fan. I think this one is great. And then lastly, the palette that I think I had the most fun with and that surprised me the most was the Planet Spirit palette by Oden'S Eye and Betty Bean. I don't really know. At some places she is called Betty Bean, but she's Betty Jean, I believe. But I think this is such a fun color story, and it just surprised me because she can go way deeper than you think, maybe like at first glance, because if you go into the shade called Sanctuary, it is a bit more muted, it's a bit more deep, and it can get something, it can get a look with quite a lot of depth in it. And if you go into this green shade, you can also create quite a like dark green shade almost on the eyes, and it just really depends what you combine, what you get out of this palette. And it just really challenged me a bit, but not too much. Like, I wanted to go into this, but I didn't really know what was gonna come out of it. And I feel like the shimmers in here really help with that as well, because they are so dimensional, they are so fun, they are so sparkly, and if you just kind of like tap them over things, it all like meshes together a lot more. If you start out with like different bright shades, maybe at the start you can feel like, wow, this is really almost color blocking on the eyes, but then if you go over with a shimmer, it can all kind of mesh together. And that's what I really loved about this palette. Like the shade Majestic, I thought was so fun. Animalia was such a good shade as well. It's just so sparkly, so pretty, and I had so much fun with this palette. I think the shades are so well chosen, and like every look that I did with it, I just thought was so cute, so nice, and just surprised me. I was like, oh, so you can do this with this palette as well. That is so fun. So I actually have basically only good things to say about these 3 palettes, and I would recommend them. I think they're really fun and a great way to try Oden'S Eye because they're bigger palettes. They're a bit more small. They are a bit more compact, which I really love. Alright, let's move on to Fantasy Cosmetics. They sent me these over. This was my first PR. I got these for free and they gave me 4 lipsticks and also 2 eyeshadow palettes. So these are the eyeshadow palettes that I got. So let's start with the eyeshadow palettes. I think that the matte formula in here is really nice. I think the mattes are very blendable, buildable. I was actually really impressed with those. I even tried the black. I feel like the black is not like the blackest black, but because of that you can really like work with it. It's not too scary. It kind of can deepen up the look without it looking like this spot of blackness. So I actually quite enjoyed that black. They have some different shimmer formulas in here. Some are a little bit more soft, some are a little bit more sparkly. Like this silvery shade over here is definitely on the more sparkly side. I quite like it. I do feel like these shimmers look the best on the eye. They look a bit better on the eye than when you swatch them. I was really impressed with the mattes that are in the Blooming Season palette. This is the Blooming Season palette. The other palette is the Crazy Rhythm palette. I was really impressed with these mattes. They work really well. They're really pigmented. They are really blendable. I think the shimmers are cute. Like overall in these eyeshadow palettes, the shimmers are cute. They are not all the same. Some are a little bit more sparkly, some are a little bit more soft. I wouldn't say that the shimmer formula is on par with like indie. It's not indie, it's more similar to things you would maybe find in like more maybe drugstore brands or more, I don't know what I could really compare it with. It's a bit more on the subtle side, but it does look cute in the look. It is not that I would really go into this palette looking for a certain shimmer, because they are a little bit too subtle for that. It's not like in your face, like shiny shimmery, but it does look really cute in the overall look. I quite like the shimmers, but I do feel like the mattes, they are the star of the show. I like the mattes the most. Then we have the lipsticks. I have 4 of the shades. I already showed these in my last haul as well. First up, I have the shade Mocha, which is a warm, like mocha brown kind of shade. I think for people with warm undertones, this is gonna be like a really nice medium nude. I have the shade Rouge, which is a dark cool toned red shade, which is really cool. And then I also have the shade Cameo, which is my favorite because this is kind of like a pinky nude, like a pinky rosy nude, which I'm really into. And then I also have the shade Chili, which is a very like fiery red, kind of bright. It looks less bright in the bullet, but once you apply it on the lips, it is quite bright. So what I feel about this lipstick formula, I actually think that they did a great job with this. They are very much like a comfort matte. They feel very comfortable on the lips. They wear pretty long, but if you drink something, if you eat something, like some of it will come off on the drink or the food, but it's not like it's disappearing from your lips right away. I really actually like this formula. It just feels really nice. It's pretty long wearing. It doesn't feel drying. When you first apply it, it looks a little bit more creamy, but it still has this matte quality to it. It's a bit more satin at the start, then it kind of dries down. I would say that these lipsticks for now, for this launch, are my favorites because these 2 color stories are both a little bit too much on one end of color options for me personally, because I think that these are like really beautiful, but they're a bit warm for me. I usually don't go for shades this warm. The ones that I do quite like are the more maroon shades, and then this is really gray. I do like them. I do like them a lot, but I am very curious to see what else they will come out with. I'm very curious to see what other color stories. I feel like if my perfect color story would be released, then I could really like get on board with that and get excited about that. And I'm also really curious to see if they will release any more of these lipsticks, because I actually really like the quality. But personally, I think I'm gonna wear Cameo the most, because this is just really up my alley. This is just really my type of shade. So I'm pretty excited to see what else this brand will do. Honestly, when they first sent me this, I was a little bit skeptical. I was just like, let's see what this will be. But I was actually pleasantly surprised. I actually think that the quality of all these products are good. Like, they did a good first launch. Now let's move on to some drugstore makeup. So first up, I have here the Essence Positive Vibes Only highlighter. This is such a beautiful sparkly highlighter. It is very glittery. It has this iridescent vibe to it. Like, the base is kind of gray, and then on top we have kind of pinky purple, like pinky lilac shimmer, which I really enjoy. This is a type of shimmer highlighter that I really like. It's just a sophisticated shimmer, this veil of shimmer, and it just looks very glowy, very wet looking on the skin. So I think this is a great one, and I am a huge fan of it. Then I also have the Catrice Cheek Lover Marbled Blush in 010 Dahlia Blossom, and this is just such a beautiful blush. It's this cool tone pink. It has this beautiful skin-like glow. It is pretty pigmented, but not too pigmented to the point that it's difficult to apply. You just have to go in a little bit lightly. Don't take too much on your brush right away. I think this is a beautiful blush. I really love this shade. I feel like it's a bit different from other pinky blushes that I have, and just the way that it looks on the skin, it's just very like this beautiful natural pinky blush, and I really like it. Then I also have the Essence Bloomin' Bright collection. I have used all of these things a bunch more, and I have made up my mind. So when I first did the video, I was really excited about this collection, and I would still say it's a pretty nice, exciting collection, but I do feel like it is good for the price and that it is good for Essence. What I mean by that is, like, the quality is good, the mattes blend well, they are pigmented, the shimmers are nice, they do work, they do their job, everything does its job. But I feel like it's not a very versatile palette, and because of that it does feel like I've basically done all the looks that I could do already with it. I mean, we have two bronzy shimmers, and I feel like that could have been something different. I feel like we could have had a pink shimmer, we could have had a peach, and I feel like the mattes are also a little bit redundant. Like, why do we have two pinks and two oranges? Could have been something a little different. They could have mixed it up a little bit. I just feel like it's pretty much like a one-trick pony, which seems fun when you first see it. It seems fun when you first get it. And the first look that I did with it, I thought was really cute, but now I kind of feel like I'm done with it. I don't really feel like I'm feeling it anymore, especially comparing it to the Planet Spirit palette, because I feel like this has so many options, so many things you can layer, so many things you can combine. There's just a lot of exciting things to do with it, and I feel like this is good for if you want to do like this one specific look. If you want something for that, you don't want to spend too much money on it, then this is a good choice because it's affordable, it does work. But for me and my collection, I just feel like it's not as special as other things. Then we have the balm, the Bloom Up Caring Lip Balm, and I quite like it in a way. I thought it looked cute in the video, but at the same time I feel like it's a bit thin, and there are just other balms that I like way more than this one. It's just a little bit thin, it kind of disappears from the lips like kind of quickly. So I think it's cute, but it's not a must-have. And then lastly from this collection we have the Blushlighter, and even though I think this is really cute, like the packaging is cute, the colors are cute, I do feel like there's just something about this formula that doesn't like 100% work for me. It's just when I apply this on the cheeks, it always looks a little bit uneven. And we also have a lot of shimmer in here, be aware of that, but just the powders themselves, like the colored powders, not even the shimmery part, looks a little bit uneven on the skin. It doesn't have this smoothing effect to it, which is kind of what makes me love blushes. I love blushes that look like smooth and that kind of perfect your skin, and this doesn't do that. I am probably still gonna wear it because I think that the colors are really fun, but the formula is just not my absolute favorite formula. And then I have one more kind of random thing to update you on in this video. I got the REM Beauty highlighter in Miss Mercury, and I have worn this so many times already actually. I think that this is such a beautiful highlighter. It's very creamy, it is very pigmented, but it just really blends in the skin so beautifully. It just is this very like skin-like highlighter. It just looks so good. It makes your skin look so good. It's like your skin but better, but it still looks very shiny. It's still very glowy. It's just kind of like this lit from within creamy highlighter, but it is even more glowy than that. It just looks so good on the skin. I really love it. I think the color is also very versatile. It's something that I can basically wear with any look. I wish there were more shades of this almost, because I feel like there are only 3 and it would be fun if there was kind of like a pinky shade of this, but I really enjoy this. I think this is a great one. I totally get why it is so hyped. I think that the hype this time is right. Okay, so this is gonna be everything for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe, and then I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.